What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Riftbound Braum. Now, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. I haven't put out a video since the pre-release of Spiritforged. We had some stuff going on, wasn't able to get any content out. I was lucky and I was able to get myself a little overnumbered Lucian. We'll take that. I'm not as lucky to get a signature yet, but I got my Riot box coming in. I got the email, so maybe it'll be coming in soon. So yeah, we have a lot of stuff going on. We got the Spiritforged Regional Bologna that happened. We have our top 8, which was completely unexpected, and we have a lot of stuff going on. Before we dive into that, though, I briefly want to talk about my obsession with this game. And I think a lot of you are probably going to be able to relate to this. It's just, Riftbound is a great freaking game. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some issues here and there, you know, with product availability and things of that nature, but Riftbound is one hell of a game. I find myself overly obsessing, you know, trying to get out there to events. You know, I'm going to 4, 5, 6 Nexus nights right now, like lined up. You know, Monday through Saturday, my week is pretty much just taken up. And I'm trying to backpedal a little bit, not to be overly obsessive and spend a little more time at home. But even at home, I find myself building more decks or playing against myself. You know, I spent last night sitting on my bed watching TV, building a Lux deck, because I was like, you know what, I'm already playing Victor. I'm already playing Mind in Order. I might as well try it out, because it's not that different of a deck if you actually look at it. Lux is, it's just different in the aspect of you can't make units, but you get the extra power every turn with the Lux Crown Guard. So it's actually a really dope card. But I find myself really, really obsessed with this, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. It's a healthy obsession. It's my getaway. It's my escapism, if you will. So I've had a lot of fun, and I can't imagine this is going down. You know what I mean? I see Riftbound just continuing up. Product availability is the only downfall that they have right now. If they can fix that issue, Riftbound, I think, is going to continue exploding how it has been. But on the topic of obsession, I need a co-host. I would love to find somebody out there that's got a good microphone, that's got a good camera, doesn't have to be anything crazy, just to maybe once a week talk Riftbound with me, because I love making Riftbound content. It can get rather mundane just sitting here talking to myself, talking to the camera, and I would love to have a co-host. So if anybody's out there wants a co-host, you know, feels like having some conversations about Riftbound, if you're obsessed as much as I am, hit me up. Let me know. Discord, Messenger, I don't care. Hit me up. You can always find me, the captain on Discord, all that good stuff. I'll leave all the information down in the description. But I really want to get into the topics of the day. We got Bologna, we have the top 8, and we have Origin prices of singles that have been slowly rising up, and I think it's the time to start buying. So we're going to start this off. We're going to start talking about, let me switch it over. We're going to start talking about the prices of Spiritforged right now. So the prices of Spiritforged and Origins, kind of, you know, Spiritforged, it didn't come out of the gate as hot as I thought it would. I thought Spiritforged was going to be, you know, the Draven was going to be $80, but that wasn't really the case. In fact, we've seen Spiritforged really maintaining their singles prices, if not dropping a little bit. We're really finding that medium right now. We're finding that plateauing area where the Spiritforged prices is probably a good time to start picking those up. Definitely recommend trading if you can, as always, but if you have to pick them up, you know, just go out there. You probably have somebody locally that will be able to sell something to you, but TCG player is always a great option as well. Origin prices, though. Origin prices have been on the rise. Whether it be our Lux that's seeing Let's see what Lux is at right now. $13.41. And that's just the basic one. The promo that came in the Spiritforged packs is sitting at like $55 right now. But if we look at these prices, there's not many up there. There's 7 listings right now for a Lux. And we have $13, we got $12, and then $18, $15, and $20. It's not exactly what I was expecting. Now, this is probably going to change once the Proving Grounds does actually come out. But as it stands, we're seeing a lot of these. I mean, even the Seal of Strength, if we want to take a look at that. Seal of Strength is sitting at $15. Last week, that was sitting at $10. And this is, I think, directly because of just the lack of Origins that's on the market. There's not a lot of Origins available, and while they're printing as much as they can, they still want to print more Spiritforged. So they got to have Spiritforged, they got to have Origins. I think Origins is taking the back burner for the new sets, and while they're trying to trickle out any little bit of Origins that they can, we're not really seeing a lot of it, and the market is seeing that effect. If you look at it, this was a $9 card, $7 card, $8 card, and now this thing shot up to $15. All of your Origin cards are going up. So if you need some Origin stuff, I recommend buying it now, because right now is going to be a pretty good time to grab hold of something. I mean, look, Downwell is a Spiritforged card. But there's not many of these either. Only 24 listings. This one's not too bad, though. That one's just getting used a lot right now, and that's why we're seeing that in, like, the mid-tier, so on and so forth. High value right now, Inverted Timelines, $25. This one's been on the rise as well. We're seeing a lot of purple get up on the rise. With the Ezreals, with the Aurelias out there, a lot of purple stuff is starting to rise up. But even stuff like, I just bought it. Time Warp. Time Warp is seeing an increase as well. Blue, purple, I would say, those are seeing significant rises, especially after Bologna. After Bologna, seeing that Draven wasn't the end-all, be-all, people started hopping on to the other decks, and we're going to talk about what decks actually made it, but spoiler, Victor made it into the top 4, which I was not expecting, and I was not expecting with the deck list that he had on him. So let's see what else we got here. Alright, so this is the just highest value of what we're looking at right now. So look at Time Warp right now. Time Warp is sitting at $80. $78 has been going up and down, but this thing, it was sitting at $50, and now it's skyrocketed because so many decks are using it. It's not just Victor that's using it. It's not just, it's not just the Luxes. It's pretty much anybody that's running Mind right now, they're more than likely gonna have a Time Warp in there just for that extra tempo. I mean, I found myself running the Victor Jace Armory combat, and I would get to 6 points, I would get to 7 points, and I would kind of just remain stagnant, not being able to push any further because they've been able to build up their base and they're fighting back at this point. And so that Time Warp, it's huge. I've won games with it already in Nexus Knights using the Time Warp. So it's huge in your decks. It's huge just across the Mind rune in general, regardless of the champion you're using. So, now might be a good time to go in there, try to pick up those singles, grab those Origin singles before they start going up in price again, because who knows when we're going to get more reprints of it, and who knows how much of those is actually going to be out there in the market. Who knows how many boxes are going to be available. You might not get lucky, you might not be able to grab any, and this is going to be causing problems in the future as we move forward, because it's going to be hard for new players. I was actually having this discussion. It's going to be hard for new players to get into this if we're not printing a lot more Origins. Because the fact of the matter is, we're going to be moving into Unleashed here real soon. As we move into Unleashed, we're going to need Origins cards. We're going to need Spiritforged cards, and we're going to need an abundance of these to be able to make the most successful decks moving, as the meta shifts, as the meta changes. Those Origin cards are still going to be viable. They're still going to be used. So not having more Origins on the market is definitely going to be a roadblock that Riot's going to run into, and they're going to need to address, because you can't keep just focusing on the new set and not printing the old set when there's so many important cards like Time Warp in those sets that the price is just going to go up and up and up unless we see more prints. So with that being said, we have, baited hooks up to $42. We got the Dead Bloom Predator. It's sitting about $41. Immortal Phoenix has jumped up to $33. Watcher. Watcher is on the rise too. $30 for a Watcher. This was $22 last week. So this thing has seen a huge jump. It was at $18. It was at $18. Watcher dropped drastically, but now is on the rise again. Again, Bologna happened. Regionals happened. People saw a Victor in there. They saw the Watchers being used. They saw them and they were like, bet. I'm hip. I'm hopping back into that. I'm getting myself some Watchers. If you didn't already have them, now would probably be the time before they jump up to like the $35 mark. But yeah, like I said, Origins is on the rise. Even the Seals of Unity, these were $20 when I sold them not even a week ago, and now they're sitting at $27, almost $30. People are buying based off of what they're seeing played at the regionals, and it is drastically changing the price up and down of things. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see where they're going to take it. Like I said, we got to have more Origins. We got to have more Spiritforged. As the meta shifts, we're definitely going to see prices change on certain things. Let's move over though to, let me see. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me switch it over real quick. There we go. All right. So first place was an Ezreal. Nobody was expecting that. Nobody saw an Ezreal coming up and making it into first place. And this is what I'm talking about right here. Like, we see the Watcher right there. We got the Downwell in there. Like, these are all the cards you're seeing that are jumping up in price right now. And it's because people are just jumping on these. I mean, he's even got a Mundo in there. Mundos, I think, are only sitting at like 33 cents right now. I don't think Mundo has gone up significantly, which is crazy because Mundo is actually a stupid OP card with how much is actually it's gone up. It was 30 cents and now it's about sitting about around $1, so it's not too bad. It's still not too bad. Excuse me. But he's got the Mind Splitter in there. He's got the Watcher. He's got the hard bargains. Hard bargains are huge, guys. If you're going against a lot of Victors, you need to have hard bargains in your deck. You need to have 3 of them. That way you can just hard bargain every time they try to call the weak or they try to drag under or something of that nature. I found that that's been the best defense against my Victor deck, has been those hard bargains in the Draven decks. But what we're seeing right here is we got the Bologna Regional Qualifier, first place Ezreal. He took it down. We could not believe it, but we got the few individuals out there like Summoners Weekly who have been a hard supporter of the Ezreal. The thing about Ezreal, the thing you're going to be seeing at your locals is you're going to see people playing Ezreal. The problem is he is very mechanic heavy. If you make one little mistake, the Draven's going to eat you. The Rayleigh's going to eat you. The Victor's going to eat you up. Like, I have beat multiple Ezes with my Victor deck just because they don't have the answers to actually be able to fight back. They get bad draws, whatever the case may be. So to be a good Ezreal player is definitely not something to scoff at. It is one heck of a thing. And when you see Ezreals, don't be too intimidated by them. Most people aren't going to have the mechanics to be, regional first place with an Ezreal. Most of the time, people aren't going to have those skills, but you will probably see a lot more Ezreals, which means you're going to see a lot more people practicing those mechanics and possibly becoming real good Ezreal players. What else do we have in here? Oh, it was right. The second place was the Aurora Misfortune deck. Now, this is another one that nobody really expected, but it's got some heavy hitting cards in here. You got the Called Shot, you got the Stack Deck, you got the Sabotage, you got the Fight or Flight, you got the Hard Bargain, you got the Last Rites, which is absolutely disgusting card. And of course, you got your Auroras, the Mind Splitters. You keep dropping Mind Splitter after Mind Splitter after Mind Splitter. It's just absolutely disgusting. And if you don't have a lot of gear removal set up to take something like this down, you might not be able to fight back against it. If you're not able to get those Auroras off the table, you're probably not fighting against this very much. And that's what I think Misfortune really banked on. I think she banked on people not expecting this and expecting the Draven, expecting the Aurelia. So when this comes up and this shows up, people are like, "Oh crap, this is not what I signed up for. This is not what I was anticipating." But as we move on to third place, we have the Aurelia. Of course, Aurelia is going to be in here. Aurelia is a heavy hitter, no matter what format you're playing in, whether it's competitive, locals, casual. Aurelia is a consistent player that constantly is out there just wreaking havoc. That's one reason that Defiant Dance is so hard to find right now. And last I checked, it was a $50 card, but it might... Let's check it. Defiant Dance is sitting at, what? $44. So it's actually... not too bad. It's sitting roughly about where it was. It's maintaining its price. There's still quite a bit of Spiritforged out there, so it's going to hold on to that price for a little bit. But it is nice to see it drop down a little bit. But again, $150 just to get the 3 signatures to play this deck. That is a steep go right there just to try and play Aurelia. But again, it made it into the top 4 for a reason. It is a devastating deck. The Boots of Swiftness are top tier in this. I wish that I had them in my Victor deck. And here we go, the Victor deck. Now, this Victor deck was a little bit different than what I had been running. I was running a blue Victor with spell heavy. I wasn't running the Chemtech guy. I wasn't running the Reptide Rexes. I wasn't running the 3 drops or the 2 drops. I was running Blood Money. I was running the Wages of Pain. I was running anything that was pretty much a removal spell. I had the Watchers in there. I personally added the Time Warp in there. And I also added Mundo into it just because I think Mundo is an underrated champ for this deck. Now, granted, it doesn't have acceleration, but with, 30 spells in your deck, you're dropping spell, and Mundo is just anything in your trash. So if you've dropped 5 spells, 6 spells, 7 spells, your Mundo is beefy right off rip. And if that's not enough, you're still dropping more spells after that. You're continuing this cycle over and over. And so Mundo can maintain a healthy might with the Victor deck if you continue it on. Now, he's running 3 Watchers in this. I think, personally, 3 Watchers and a Mundo is kind of my play. I did try running his deck the other night at a Nexus night, and I just got walked all over. I don't think, for me personally, having all of those 3 and 2 drops is really my best avenue. I don't know. Maybe I really like the Jace Armory. I think that is hugely viable. It's just absolutely disgusting. The problem with it is if you don't get the Armory off, you are kind of struggling until you can get an Armory out there. And then if they destroy it, you're kind of just wading in water. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to keep messing with the Victor deck, but I am building the Lux deck that I'm going to bring to my next Nexus night. And I'm just going to play it out. I'm going to see how it is. Because I think Lux is kind of a sleeper. We've seen Luxes do big. There's even a Lux that won recently. I think it was like a 68 match, and it got like top 8. So There's potential there for Lux to do something because it's not that different from the Victor. The only difference is you're not pumping out units, so you need the Vanguard Armory. You need the Jason there to be able to spit those out. But you're also able to deal a lot more in your spells, which I think, again, Mundo's going to be a big one in her because you're going to be able to drop those spells a lot more than a Victor could because of your Lux, because of her ability to add 2. And it's add 2, but you can only use it for spells. It doesn't matter what you're using it for, though. That extra 2, if you add two Luxes on the board, you're adding 4. So you can do an additional 4 might or a 4 power spell on top of whatever runes you already have. That's huge. So not only do they have to try to focus on removing your Lux, but they also have to try and focus on removing your armories. On top of dealing with countering your spells, and those are kill spells at that. So, I think Lux is a lot to handle. I think Lux, I honestly, I'm a big supporter of both Mind and Order. I know it doesn't get as much love as Purple and Red. Those two are just absolutely devastating. But I think that as we move forward, Blue and Yellow really are going to be stapling and etching their names into things like, we're here, we're definitely going to be fighting. I mean, look at the Azir decks. Azirs and their Arise have been absolutely just brutal. I have seen a lot of Azirs popping up in my local, and people are doing pretty well with it. I mean, it's not always hitting, but when an Azir hits, that thing freaking hits, even against a Draven. Now let's go to the Draven. Let's see. We got another Ezreal in there. Let's see. We got the Draven. So the Dravens didn't even make it in the top 4, which was actually a huge surprise for a lot of us. We didn't really expect that, but now that we're seeing it, Draven isn't really that big of a guy. I mean, don't get me wrong. At my locals, Draven is still absolutely dominating. We're talking on a competitive level, because at your locals, you're most likely not having a huge competitive scene. The guys that I play with at my local scene, most of them are actually pretty competitive. So I see a lot of Dravens, and they're doing really good because most people don't know how to play against them or into them. I mean, heck, I'm not even great against the Draven. The Miracle Draven eats my Victor up. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a great Riftbound player. I am very mediocre at the end of the day. A good amount of my time was spent playing Garen, so I was losing a lot of the time. I don't even want to talk about my win rate because I didn't realize there was a win rate percentage when I was playing Garen for, 20 games. I went to 20 events playing Garen, lost pretty much everything. So I look at my win rate, it's like, yeah, that looks about right. But no, we got Draven in here, and he's got a lot of answers. He got the hard bargains in there. He's got the thermos, he's got the thunder songs, and Draven is just an all-around very strong character, and I think it's a good character for all levels, because you don't need to be hugely mechanically inclined when it comes to Riftbound to be a successful Draven player. To be a great Draven player, definitely. To win matches as a Draven player, though, I don't necessarily believe that you need to be highly skilled in all the components of the game to fully be able to get those W's. Whereas someone like maybe Annie or Aurelia requires a little more, Ezreal requires a lot more skill to be able to understand the mechanics and not make those misplays that end up ultimately costing you the game. But we've seen the meta shift. We're seeing the meta shift. We're seeing things change up. And I think this is healthy. This is exactly what we needed to see. Because now I'm really excited about Vegas. We're going to be covering Vegas. I personally am not going to Vegas, but we're going to be covering it. We're going to be talking about it. We're going to be diving into it. Hopefully we'll try to do maybe like a live stream of the competitors and them playing through whatever means through Riftbound. Because I would love to be able to do some commentary on that. Though, again, I would love a co-host to help me out along the way so I'm not losing my voice and just trying to fill the dead air, if you will. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Vegas looks like, because Vegas has a lot of potential to see some things that we weren't expecting. I expect Victors, I expect Ez's, I expect Dravens, I expect Aurelias, but there might be some Orns in there. I've seen some Orns just be absolutely devastating. Baited hook Fioras have been absolute monsters on the scene. So there's a lot of potential out there. There's a lot of, I would say, diversity and variety when it comes to the different Riftbound decks that are available. And I'm really excited to see where this hobby is going. We're seeing the meta shift almost on a weekly basis. It's probably not going to shift too much more until we get into Unleashed. But man, I cannot wait to see what's in store there. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. If you haven't already, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Make sure you guys are following along, hitting the notification bell so you're not missing any content that we have coming out. And until the next video.